Captain Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the UES Defiant, watching the shimmering bands of quantum space streak past the reinforced transparent steel. The latest message from Earth Command weighed heavily on her mind, its implications more troubling than the overtly polite diplomatic language suggested. "Display message HD 7249 again," she commanded. The ship's AI projected the text before her. "By decree of the Galactic Council, all species seeking elevation to full member status must demonstrate sufficient military capability to contribute to mutual defense obligations. Earth is hereby invited to participate in a standardized combat readiness evaluation." Sarah's lips tightened. After 2 centuries of being ignored by the galactic community, humanity was suddenly being rushed into a military demonstration. The timing couldn't be more suspicious, especially given recent events in the Outer Rim. "Captain, to the bridge." Marcus Wong's voice carried an edge that Sarah had learned to recognize during their 5 years serving together. Her intelligence officer never called without good reason. The bridge of the Defiant hummed with activity as Sarah entered. Marcus stood at the tactical station, his dark eyes fixed on a holographic display showing energy patterns across a sector of space. "Report," Sarah ordered, settling into her command chair. "We've been analyzing the quantum wake signatures in the designated testing area," Marcus said, expanding the display. "There's been unusual traffic through the nearby corridors, ships moving in patterns that don't match their registered flight plans." Lieutenant Commander Yuki Tanaka, the ship's XO, leaned forward at her station. "Smugglers. More organized than that," Marcus replied. "We're seeing military-grade stealth systems, multiple vessels using synchronized transit windows to mask their numbers." Sarah studied the patterns. After the Proxima War, she'd developed a healthy respect for what remained unsayed in interstellar politics. "Show me the Council species with military assets in range of the testing grounds." The display shifted, highlighting patrol routes of various Council members. The Arxer Empire's defensive line along their claimed border. The Skittle Collective's trade convoy routes. The Meridian Alliance's peacekeeping vessels. "All of them," Sarah muttered. "They've all adjusted their patrol patterns to overlap with our demonstration window." "That's not all," Marcus added, overlaying another data set. "We've detected quantum wake signatures consistent with Drachnid drive systems." The bridge fell silent. The Drachnids were supposed to be contained in their home system after their failed invasion of Earth 50 years ago. Their presence here couldn't be coincidence. "They're testing us," Yuki said quietly, "but not the way they claim." Sarah nodded. "They want to see how we handle a trap." She stood, addressing her bridge crew. "Send word to engineering. I want every system at peak efficiency, but keep our more innovative modifications offline for now. Let them think they know our capabilities." "What about Earth Command?" Marcus asked. "Should we abort the demonstration?" Sarah smiled, but there was no humor in it. "No. The Council wants to evaluate humanity's military readiness. Let's give them exactly what they asked for." She turned to her communications officer. "Send a message to the Council representatives. Inform them that the UES Defiant accepts their invitation and will arrive at the designated coordinates in 48 hours. As her crew carried out their orders, Sarah returned to studying the tactical display. The Council species had forgotten, or chosen to ignore, a crucial lesson from the Proxima War. Humanity hadn't survived and thrived in a hostile galaxy by being predictable. In her ready room, Sarah accessed the ship's secure storage and retrieved a small quantum crystal, its surface etched with the personal cipher of Admiral Helena Rodriguez. The message inside was brief but clear. "They think we're young, reckless, and lucky. Let them. Sometimes the best defense is letting your opponent underestimate you. But Sarah, make sure the lesson sticks this time." The next 2 days were spent in careful preparation. Engineering teams under Chief Gloria Martinez worked in shifts, fine-tuning systems while carefully maintaining the appearance of a vessel equipped with only publicly known human technology. The combat teams ran drills, but deliberately included small inefficiencies in their observable patterns, nothing that would impact actual performance, but enough to suggest a less experienced crew to watching eyes. 24 hours before the demonstration, Sarah called her senior staff to the tactical center. The holographic display showed their destination, a seemingly empty sector of space near the border of Council territory. Latest intelligence suggests we'll be facing at least 3 distinct threats, Marcus reported. The official evaluation fleet, hidden forces in the nearby asteroid field, and the possibility of Drachnid vessels waiting in quantum space. They expect us to either walk into their trap or run from it, Yuki added. Either response would justify denying Earth's membership petition. Sarah traced a finger along the projected course to their destination. Then we'll do neither. We'll show them exactly what they asked to see. Humanity's true military capability. She looked at each of her officers in turn. But we do this smart. We do this our way. As the meeting concluded, Sarah remained behind, studying the tactical display. Humanity had learned harsh lessons about galactic politics during the Proxima War. The Council species thought they were springing an elaborate trap. They were about to learn that humanity had developed its own lessons about dealing with technologically advanced opponents. The Defiant's quantum drive engaged, carrying them toward their rendezvous with the Council's evaluation fleet. In her ready room, Sarah composed one final message to Earth Command. The board is set. Let's show them why humanity doesn't play by their rules. The UES Defiant dropped out of quantum space at the edge of the testing grounds, its sensors immediately beginning passive scans of the surrounding area. The official welcoming committee consisted of 3 Council vessels: the massive Arxer Dreadnought Stone Verdict, the sleek Meridian Cruiser Dawn's Light, and the crystalline structure of the Skill Observation Vessel Eye of Truth. Quite the reception committee, Yuki remarked from her station, eyes tracking the sensor readings. The Arxer don't usually venture this far from their core systems. Incoming transmission, announced Communications Officer Rajpatal. It's Ambassador Katal of the Arxer. The main view screen activated, revealing the massive reptilian form of the Arxer Ambassador. His scales gleamed with ceremonial oils, but his eyes held the cold calculation of a predator. Captain Chen, welcome to neutral space. We trust your journey was uneventful. Perfectly routine, Ambassador, Sarah replied, noting the slight emphasis on uneventful. The Defiant stands ready for your evaluation. Excellent. We'll begin with a simple weapons demonstration. Please proceed to the designated coordinates. As the transmission ended, Marcus approached Sarah's command chair, tablet in hand. Captain, you need to see this. He transferred data to her personal display, keeping his voice low. We've been running quantum resonance scans of the asteroid field. The signatures we detected earlier, they're not just hidden ships. Sarah studied the data, her expression hardening. The scattered rocks weren't natural formations. They were carefully positioned sensor baffles and weapons platforms. How many? At least 20 automated defense platforms, plus what looks like a squadron of stealth vessels. But there's something else. Marcus pulled up another scan. We're detecting trace elements consistent with Drachnid quantum wake signatures, just like we suspected. But they're not just present. They're fresh. Within the last 12 hours. Someone's been busy, Sarah murmured. She opened a secure channel to engineering. Gloria, how are our modifications holding up? Chief Engineer Gloria Martinez's voice came through, tinged with professional pride. Ready and waiting, Captain. They won't detect anything unless we want them to. The Defiant moved slowly toward the designated coordinates, its sensors continuing their passive sweep of the area. In the ship's tactical center, Marcus and his intelligence team worked frantically to piece together the puzzle before them. Look at these energy patterns, analyst Chen Park pointed out, highlighting sections of their sensor data. The automated platforms aren't just defensive, they're creating a containment field. Once it's activated, quantum space travel would be impossible within the testing area. They want to trap us here, Marcus concluded. But why go to all this trouble? They could have simply rejected Earth's petition. Unless this isn't just about Earth, Yuki suggested, joining them in the tactical center. What if we're not the only target? Marcus pulled up data on recent council political movements. The Meridian Alliance has been pushing for reforms in technology sharing. The Skittle Collective recently proposed opening restricted trade routes. Both initiatives would have weakened the Arxer Empire's economic dominance, and Earth's petition for membership would have added another voice supporting those reforms. Sarah added, studying the display. They're not just testing us, they're sending a message to everyone. An alert chimed from the sensor station. Captain, energy spike from the Arxer Dreadnought, reported Sensor Officer Maya Williams. They're powering up weapon systems. Right on schedule, Sarah said quietly. She opened a shipwide channel. All hands, this is the captain. As some of you have already guessed, this demonstration is more than it appears. The Council, or at least certain members of it, have decided to use this opportunity to eliminate a potential threat to their power. They expect us to either submit to their authority or provide them with an excuse for military action. She paused, letting her words sink in. They believe they know humanity's capabilities. They think they understand our tactics, our technology, our limits. They're wrong. Every member of this crew was chosen for your ability to think creatively, to adapt, to see solutions others miss. It's time to show them why humanity survived the Proxima War. In the tactical center, Marcus's team had compiled their analysis of the hidden forces around them. The trap was elegant in its design. Multiple layers of automated defenses, hidden warships, and the Council's own vessels positioned to cut off any escape route. They're hailing us again, Raj announced. Put them through, Sarah ordered, settling into her command chair. Ambassador Catal's massive form appeared once more. Captain Chen, we're detecting some anomalies in your ship's energy signature. Perhaps your engineers would appreciate our technical assistance before we begin. Sarah smiled, all teeth, and no warmth. That won't be necessary, Ambassador. The Defiant is operating exactly as intended. Shall we begin your evaluation? Kittle's scales shifted in what might have been amusement. Indeed. Please proceed to grid coordinate Alpha 7 and prepare to demonstrate your weapon systems. As the transmission ended, Sarah turned to Yuki. Status of our special preparations. Gloria's teams have everything ready. They won't know what hit them. Sarah nodded, then addressed her bridge crew. They want to see humanity's military capabilities. Let's give them a demonstration they'll never forget. She keyed in commands on her chair's console. All hands, battle stations. Let's show them why you don't corner a species that turned the Proxima War around. The Defiant moved forward, its systems humming with power that their observers couldn't detect. In the asteroid field, hidden weapons platforms began their activation sequences. Aboard the Council ships, crews prepared to spring their trap, confident in their superior numbers and technology. None of them realized they were about to learn a costly lesson about underestimating humanity's capacity for innovation and survival. The UES Defiant glided into position at the designated coordinates, its hull reflecting the distant starlight. In the ship's Combat Information Center, Marcus watched as hidden weapons platforms in the asteroid field began powering up their targeting systems. Energy spike detected, Maya reported from her sensor station. Multiple signatures emerging from the asteroid field. Sarah's voice remained calm. Right on schedule. Gloria, initiate protocol echo. Deep within the Defiant's engineering sections, Gloria Martinez input a complex sequence of commands. The ship's power signature subtly shifted, matching frequencies her team had spent months analyzing from recovered Proxima War data. Signal from the Arxer Dreadnought, Raj announced. They're laughing. Ambassador Catal's voice filled the bridge, dripping with satisfaction. Fascinating energy signature, Captain Chen. Almost identical to a Drachnid assault cruiser. Tell me, how long have humans been collaborating with our mutual enemies? Sarah stood from her command chair, her expression neutral. Interesting accusation, Ambassador, especially coming from someone who's been running weapons through neutral space. The ambassador's scales flickered in surprise before he caught himself. Serious charges require serious evidence, Captain. Evidence that will be difficult to provide after Drachnid forces tragically destroy your vessel during this demonstration. On cue, 12 ships materialize from the asteroid field, their hull configurations matching known Drachnid designs. The automated weapons platforms activated, forming an energy barrier that would prevent quantum space transitions. As you can see, Catel continued, rogue Drachnid elements have chosen to attack during our peaceful demonstration. Naturally, the Council ships will do everything possible to assist, but given our position... Of course, Sarah interrupted, allowing herself a small smile. Tell me, Ambassador, did you really think we came here expecting a fair demonstration? She nodded to Yuki, who activated a series of commands. Across the Defiant's hull, panels that had appeared to be standard armor plating shifted, revealing sophisticated sensor arrays. In the engineering section, Gloria's team initiated the ship's true power systems. Multiple quantum space ruptures detected. Maya called out. 8 vessels emerging. Through the quantum space ruptures came a sight that made the ambassador's scales pale. Earth vessels, their hulls bearing the distinctive markings of the Terran Special Operations Fleet. You didn't really think we'd send just one ship to a routine demonstration, did you? Sarah asked, her voice carrying a hint of amusement. Humanity learned from the Proxima War. We learned about betrayal, about hidden agendas, and most importantly, about being prepared. The Defiant's sensor erased pulse, broadcasting on frequencies that cut through the stealth systems of the hidden ships. On every bridge in the assembled fleet, tactical displays lit up with comprehensive scans of the entire battlefield. This is Admiral Helena Rodriguez of the TSO fleet to all vessels. A new voice announced on all channels. We have complete sensor data on your positions, your weapons, and your true drive signatures. Stand down immediately. In the chaos that followed, the Drachnid ships, revealed to be Council vessels using masked energy signatures, attempted to power up their weapons, but the Defiant was already moving, its hull gleaming as previously hidden weapon ports opened. Target their propulsion systems, Sarah ordered. Let's show them some actual human technology. The Defiant's main weapons fired, not the crude plasma cannons the Council expected, but focused beams of quantum-entangled particles that bypassed standard shields completely. 3 of the disguised Council ships found their engines precisely disabled before they could fire a single shot. Fascinating technology, Ambassador, Sarah commented as Catel's dreadnought attempted to bring its main guns to bear. Would you like to explain to the Meridian Alliance representatives why you're using masked Drachnid signatures in neutral space? Or should we discuss the weapon shipments our intelligence teams have been tracking? On the tactical display, the TSO fleet moved with practiced precision, systematically neutralizing the automated weapons platforms. The trap designed to contain one ship now served to prevent the Council forces from escaping. This is impossible, Catel snarled. Your technology isn't this advanced. We monitored your development. We knew your capabilities. No, Sarah corrected him. You knew what we wanted you to know. Humanity learned to be cautious after the Proxima War. Everything you monitored was exactly what we wanted you to see. The battle that followed was remarkably brief. The Council ships, caught between the Defiant's advanced weapons and the TSO fleet's coordinated attacks, found themselves systematically disabled. The automated platforms, designed to trap human ships, proved useless against quantum-entangled weapon systems they hadn't known existed. In the Defiant's tactical center, Marcus compiled the sensor data that would expose the Council's conspiracy. We've confirmed quantum wake signatures matching the weapon shipments we tracked. The evidence is conclusive. Sarah opened a channel to all ships. To all Council vessels. Your ships are disabled. Your trap is exposed, and your conspiracy has been documented. I suggest you consider your next actions very carefully. The silence that followed was broken by a new voice. The Meridian Alliance representative, her tone cold with fury. The Alliance formally requests all sensor data regarding these activities. We will be launching an immediate investigation. As the political fallout began, Sarah allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Council had wanted to test humanity's military capabilities. Instead, they had learned why humans had not just survived, but thrived in a hostile galaxy. They had learned to plan ahead, to innovate, and most importantly, to turn their enemies' expectations against them. The battle was over, but the real war, the political one, was just beginning. And humanity had just proved they were more than ready for it. The next 12 hours aboard the UES Defiant were a flurry of activity as the implications of their victory rippled through galactic politics. The ship's quantum communication array continuously processed diplomatic messages, while Marcus's intelligence team compiled their evidence into an undeniable case against the conspirators. Another request for sensor data, Raj reported from his communication station. This time from the Skittle Scientific Council. They're particularly interested in our quantum-entangled weapons technology. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. Send them the same response as the others. All technical data will be reviewed by Earth Command before release. In the Tactical Center, Marcus and his team worked with representatives from the Meridian Alliance, methodically documenting the conspiracy. The evidence was damning. Falsified shipping manifests, encrypted communications between supposedly neutral parties, and the modified Council ships themselves, still disabled in space around them. The weapons signatures are conclusive. A Meridian investigator named T. Lara announced, her crystalline form-shifting colors with barely contained anger. These ships were deliberately modified to match Drachnid energy patterns. The technical expertise required. This operation had high-level support. Support that goes right to the top of the Arxer military command. Marcus added, displaying a series of decoded transmissions. Ambassador Ktal was just the visible piece. On the bridge, Yuki approached Sarah's command chair with a secure tablet. Latest update from Admiral Rodriguez. The TSO fleet has finished securing the automated weapons platforms. The engineering teams are fascinated. Apparently some of the technology is decades ahead of what the Council claimed to possess. More lies exposed, Sarah murmured, reviewing the data. How many other species have they been keeping down while preaching about technological equality? The ship's AI announced an incoming priority transmission. The main screen activated to show Admiral Helena Rodriguez, her expression stern but satisfied. Captain Chen, well done. The Council's emergency session has just concluded. You'll want to see this. The transmission split to show the Council chamber on Europa Station, where representatives from over 30 spacefaring species had gathered. The Meridian Alliance speaker, a tall, ethereal being named Zoraval, stood at the central podium. The evidence presented by Earth's forces is incontrovertible, she declared, her voice carrying the weight of law. Members of the Council, including high-ranking officials of the Arxer Empire, conspired to maintain technological superiority through illegal suppression of emerging species. Their attempt to eliminate human witnesses has exposed centuries of systematic manipulation. In the Council chamber, the Arxer representatives sat in stony silence as Zoraval continued. Effective immediately, the Council adopts the following measures. First, all technology sharing restrictions are suspended pending review. Second, Earth's petition for membership is approved with immediate effect. Third, a full investigation into all Council military activities of the past century will begin. The chamber erupted in chaos as species that had long suspected their development was being artificially restricted began demanding answers. Sarah watched the political earthquake unfold, knowing this was just the beginning. Captain, Gloria's voice came through the intercom. We're detecting unusual power fluctuations from the Arxer dreadnought. Sarah straightened in her chair. Analysis. They're trying to bring their quantum drive online, but something's wrong. Their containment fields are destabilizing. They're going to attempt a desperate strike, Yuki realized. Their entire power structure is crumbling. They have nothing left to lose. Sarah opened a channel to the TSO fleet. Admiral, the Arxer dreadnought is showing signs of imminent quantum drive failure, given their position. I see it, Rodriguez replied grimly. If their drive explodes here, the quantum shockwave could cripple half the fleet. Sarah studied the tactical display, mind racing through options. The dreadnought's position had seemed tactical during the battle. Now it looked deliberately chosen to cause maximum damage if things went wrong. Gloria, she called, remember that theoretical application of the quantum entanglement field we discussed. A pause. The one that's never been tested outside simulation. Captain, if we're off by even a fraction. Better than watching that drive explode. Do it. The Defiance engines hummed as Gloria's team initiated a sequence that had only existed in theoretical physics until now. A field of quantum-entangled particles expanded from the ship, surrounding the failing dreadnought. What are you doing? Catal's voice demanded over the communications channel, panic evident for the first time. Saving your lives, Sarah replied calmly, unless you prefer to test how well your escape pods work. The field stabilized around the dreadnought, creating a bubble of controlled quantum space. Inside, the failing drive's energy was contained, channeled, and eventually dispersed harmlessly into subspace. Quantum drive stabilized. Gloria reported, exhaustion clear in her voice. Though I'm pretty sure we just rewrite half of known physics to make that work. In the council chamber, now watching the events in real time, the silence was absolute. Humanity had just demonstrated not only the ability to detect and counter the Council's most advanced technology, but to casually solve problems that had baffled their best scientists for generations. Admiral Rodriguez's image reappeared on the Defiance main screen. The Council's Technical Advisory Board is requesting immediate consultation with Earth's scientific community. It seems we've gotten their attention. Sarah nodded, watching as Meridian security forces began boarding the disabled Arxer dreadnought. They wanted to see humanity's capabilities. I think they've seen enough. In her ready room later, Sarah reviewed the preliminary reports from Earth Command. The political landscape of the galaxy had changed more in 12 hours than in the previous century. Humanity's admission to the Council was now the least of the changes coming. The real work was just beginning. Species that had been artificially kept from advancing would need help catching up. The Council's power structure would need to be rebuilt from the ground up. And humanity, having proved itself far more capable than anyone had imagined, would play a central role in shaping the galaxy's future. Message from Earth Command, the ship's AI announced. Priority 1. Sarah opened the message and smiled. Their next mission was already waiting. The galaxy was changing, and humanity would help guide that change, whether the old guard liked it or not. 1 month after the events at the demonstration zone, the UES Defiant orbited Europa Station, its quantum arrays processing the constant stream of diplomatic and technical communications that had become routine. Sarah stood in the station's grand observation dome, watching Earth's vessels assist Meridian ships in dismantling the last of the Council's illegal weapons platforms. The latest reports from the investigation teams are in, Marcus said, joining her at the window. They've traced weapons shipments to 15 different, supposedly primitive species. The Arxer weren't just suppressing technology. They were actively destabilizing potential rivals. Sarah nodded, unsurprised. The past month had revealed layers of manipulation that went beyond mere technological suppression. And the Drachnid connection. That's the interesting part. Marcus displayed a holographic analysis. The Drachnids were being played too. The Arxer were secretly supplying them with just enough technology to remain a credible threat, keeping the border systems dependent on Council protection. The observation dome's doors opened to admit Admiral Rodriguez and Zaraval, the Meridian speaker who had become one of humanity's strongest allies in the Reformed Council. Captain Chen, Zaraval's ethereal voice carried warmth. Your crew's assistance has been invaluable in implementing the technological redistribution program. The Defiance engineers are happy to help, Sarah replied. Though I understand Gloria is getting frustrated with species asking for quantum entanglement technology before they've mastered basic drive theory. Rodriguez smiled. That's actually why we're here. The Council's Scientific Development Board has a proposal for Earth. The Admiral activated a secure holographic display, showing a massive station design unlike anything Sarah had seen before. This is the Galileo Initiative, Rodriguez explained, a joint training and development facility where species can advance at their own pace, with guidance rather than restriction. The old council believed control was the path to stability. Zaraval added, "We now understand that true stability comes from cooperation and mutual growth. We would like Earth to take the lead in this project." Sarah studied the station schematics. "Because we managed to advance despite the restrictions." "Because you did so while maintaining perspective," Zaraval corrected. "Your species developed incredible technology, but you also developed the wisdom to know when not to use it. The quantum entanglement incident with the Dreadnought proved that." In the tactical center, Yuki was coordinating with a mixed species team analyzing the recovered Arxer weapons. The former council members had been shocked to discover how many of their classified technologies had been known to Earth for years, and how many had been quietly improved upon. Another request from the Skittle Science Academy, Yuki reported over the comm. "They're particularly interested in how we managed to miniaturize quantum field generators. Tell them to talk to Gloria," Sarah replied. "She's already setting up the technical exchange program." An alert chimed from Marcus's tablet. "Speaking of technical exchanges, the deep space arrays just picked up something interesting." He expanded the display, showing energy readings from the far edge of known space. "These patterns, they're similar to what we detected before the demonstration, but different." Sarah studied the readings. "Not council technology." "No." Marcus's expression was thoughtful. "These are completely new. I think we might be detecting our first signals from beyond council space." Admiral Rodriguez joined them at the display. "The galaxy's a lot bigger than the council," led everyone to believe. "There are probably dozens of spacefaring species out there who avoided council contact. Can't blame them," Sarah noted. "Given what we've learned about how the council treated emerging civilizations, which is precisely why Earth needs to take the lead in what comes next," Zaraval said. "Your species has proven it can advance technologically without losing its moral compass. The reformed council needs that example." Sarah's communicator chimed with a priority message from Gloria. "Captain, we've finished analyzing that anomalous energy signature from the demonstration. You're going to want to see this." In engineering, Gloria's team had reconstructed the quantum field effect that had saved the Arxer Dreadnought. It wasn't just a containment field, Gloria explained, excitement clear in her voice. "When we entangled the quantum particles, we created a temporary space-time bridge. Do you understand what this means?" Sarah did. "A new form of faster-than-light travel." "Not just travel," Gloria corrected. "If we can stabilize the effect, we could create permanent quantum bridges between star systems. The implications for exploration, colonization, trade, and defense," Marcus added quietly. "If there are more species out there, they might not all be friendly." Sarah looked around at her crew, human and alien alike, working together to unlock new possibilities. This was what humanity had always been best at, not just developing technology, but understanding how to use it responsibly. "Admiral," she said, turning to Rodriguez, "I think it's time for the Defiant's next mission. If there are other civilizations out there, they should know that the galaxy's political landscape has changed." Rodriguez nodded. "The Council has already approved an expedition beyond known space. They're calling it the Handshake Initiative. Peaceful first contact with species who might have avoided the Council's attention. And who better to represent the new order," Zaraval added, "than the species that proved advanced technology and wisdom can go hand in hand." In her ready room later, Sarah reviewed the Defiant's new orders. The ship would lead a joint expedition into unexplored space, carrying representatives from both council and formerly restricted species. They would seek out new civilizations not as conquerors or manipulators, but as equals. The galaxy was entering a new age. The old council's grip on power had been broken, and in its place was growing something new. An alliance built on genuine cooperation and mutual respect. Humanity had proven itself not just through superior technology or military might, but through the wisdom to know how to use those capabilities responsibly. As the Defiant prepared for its new mission, Sarah thought about how far they'd come from that suspicious demonstration just a month ago. The Council had wanted to test humanity's military capabilities. Instead, they had learned something far more important, that true strength comes not from suppressing others, but from helping them rise alongside you. The adventure was just beginning.